So very interesting, Snugglebottoms. Hello, my friends. Andy and Hetty coming to you live from Yorba Linda, California for LFD, Living Fearless Devotional.
Part of the ministry of resurrectministry.com, where we are harnessing the power of the internet to share the gospel to every corner of the earth. That's our ultimate goal for those that have no access to the gospel because they don't have churches, or if some people are just afraid to approach a church or don't have any Christian friends. That was my story. So we provide you with Bible resources, pastors to listen to, books to read, our previous podcast episodes, articles I've written for the Christian Post, Andy's Fearless Man podcast. We hope that we could find that you could find something for everyone, and actually even charities to support.
Yes,
that are doing cool stuff. So drop us a line if you have any suggestions of material to add, or if you have a comment to make about anything that we do. We love to hear from you. And if you care to partner with us, you can click the Donate Now button. And finally, like, share, subscribe, click the bell to get our notifications, because we don't go on at a regular time all the time. So that will alert you to when we're on so that you could join us in a live conversation. And those of you that are on the podcast, we ask that you share that link as well.
Wow, that was good.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I am so full from our amazing food that we had. Oceans and Earth is a great restaurant here in Yorba Linda.
Yes,
love that.
Local,
and they have a unique. I guess it's kind of unique in that they don't serve anything with gluten.
Nope,
that's pretty cool.
A gluten-free paradise.
But I'm so full. So if I fall asleep, when you eat Thanksgiving dinner and you get all sleepy, or the men in the house usually get sleepy.
Yeah.
And they all fall asleep on the couch.
It's a special
gift.
No, it's a special substance inside turkey meat that causes that.
Oh, yes. Tryptophan.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, that stuff. All right. So, hey, one more thing that you need to do is look down in the description and look for something called LifeWave. That's our new sponsor. And you can either join us in the business as a founder, or you can just simply be a customer. These products, I'm really enjoying them. I've been able to stop drinking coffee, which has saved me hundreds of dollars a month.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So it is awesome. I did have about 4 or 5 days of headaches, though, as I was stopping my coffee.
Brave.
It was 24 hours of headache.
I'm down to 1 cup. I cut 1 cup out.
You did. It's a huge savings. I really did look back on my apps that I use.
Yes.
And even on top of that, staying out of them with my children. Yes. Because if I want a cup of coffee and I go with them, it's $40.
Yeah.
Easily $40. So I've saved hundreds. Thanks to LifeWise. Thank you, LifeWise, for saving me so much money. It's a bit amazing. So join me. It'd be fun to have you in my business with me as a fellow founder. All right. We're reading from Morning by Morning by Charles Spurgeon. Hello, Lisa. And now you see the logo there? That's a LifeWise logo that Lisa has joined us in the business as a founder. But hello, Lisa. Nice to see you. All right. Morning by Morning by Charles Spurgeon is our April 27th is the date today. And our reference is Psalm 67:6. That says, God, even our own God, shall bless us. That's a really interesting way of saying it.
Right.
You're going to explain that later, why it says that?
No.
Oh.
I couldn't find an explanation. Other than this is foreshadowing the millennial kingdom, and meaning it could also be because God was constantly punishing them for disobedience. So in the millennial kingdom, they'll finally be rewarded. They will be God's people. His throne will be in Israel. That They're like, God, even our God, like the one that was mad at us before now.
Because they were following other gods, maybe too?
Because they were just disobedient constantly.
Full of.
Maybe. I have no idea if that's correct, but that's the only summation. I couldn't figure it out based on the commentaries we read real quick.
So you want to hear what Charles has to say in this in this devotional? All right. He says, it is strange how little we make use of the spiritual blessings God gives us. But even stranger how little we make use of God himself. Although he is our own God, we don't stay in continual contact with him, and we ask him for very little. How seldom we seek counsel at the hands of the Lord. how often we simply go about our business without seeking his guidance. Even in our troubles, we constantly strive to bear our burdens ourselves instead of casting them upon the Lord so he may sustain us. This is not due to some prohibition against it, for the Lord himself suggests to us, in essence, I am yours, dear soul. Come and make use of me as you will. You may freely approach my spiritual storehouse, and the more often you come, the more welcome you will be. So it is our own fault if we do not partake in the riches of our God. Therefore, since you have such a friend and he invites you to come, why not receive from him daily? Never go without when you have a God to go to, and never fear or faint when God is there to help you. Go to your treasure and take whatever you need, for he has more than you could even want. Learn the divine skill of allowing God to be all things to you. He can supply everything you need, or better yet, he himself can be all you need. I urge you then to make use of your God. Make use of him through prayer, going to him often, for he is your God. O believer, will you fail to use such great privilege? Flee to him and tell him all your wants. Use him constantly by faith at all times. If some evil darkness has clouded your life, use your God as the sun. And if some strong enemy has attacked you, find your shield in Jehovah, for he is your shield and your sun. If you have lost your way in the mazes of life, use him as your guide, for he will direct you. Whoever you may be and wherever you may be, remember, God is all you may ever want, is everywhere you need him to be, and can do everything you could ever want him to do.
Whoever you may be and wherever you may be, remember, God is all you may ever want, is everywhere you need him to be, and can do everything you could ever want him to do. It's a lot.
No matter who you are.
But it makes him sound a little bit like a genie. I don't know if I like that description.
Really?
I don't know.
Because he actually tells us to take advantage of him in a sense.
Spurgeon says that, but God doesn't say that.
It goes against your jackpot Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
Really?
of jackpot Jesus thing. Sounds a little too prosperity gospelish for me. But parts I do like. Never go without when you have a God to go to, and never fear or faint when God is there to help you. He has more than you could ever want. Yes, that I understand. But I urge you then to make use of your God. Using God? I don't know. It sounds a little creepy to me. I like this part. How seldom we seek counsel at the hands of the Lord. How often simply we go about our business without seeking his guidance. Even in our troubles, we constantly strive to bear our burdens ourselves instead of casting them upon the Lord. Yes. I get that.
You don't think that has a connection to the other things that you should go to him for everything?
Yes.
Advice. I'm troubled.
Which I do.
My car's not working.
Yes. But then you expect him to do things in response to you going to.
No.
See, he says that he should be sufficient to satisfy all of our needs, full stop. But then he says, yeah, and you should think this way because he'll do everything for you.
No.
He you know what I mean? Like he adds that whole, the pursuit of him and his love alone should be sufficient, not because you're going to get stuff.
Well, I think of it as I did, I quite often go to the time when I had COVID and I was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a time that we didn't quite know what COVID was. It was early on, and we were hearing about all these people croaking.
Yep.
And you
didn't believe it. You were rallying on street corners that it was all fake.
No.
Fake.
No, I was sicker because of what they did to me.
Yes.
And they didn't allow me to take the treatments
right
that I thought that would have actually helped me.
Yes.
So I was correct. It's
you were
just
correct that it was fake?
I didn't say it was fake. I never said it was fake. There were solutions, and they were saying, "No, the solutions are going to kill you." When in fact, those solutions would have been helpful because they were later.
They just chose different ones. They just chose the remdesivir instead of the HCQ.
Because it would kill you.
Oh, you think they were trying to kill you with
Yes.
remdesivir?
Yes, guys just tried to kill me a couple times.
Yeah, I had that I believe.
I've beat them.
Yeah.
Can I get to my point?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
And that's what I want to say, because there was so much that was unknown. And I'm thankful that it happened at the time that it did, because my faith had come around to being very strong at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So in listening to what he's saying here is that as much as I would have not liked to feel as horrible as I did, to the point where they thought I was not going to make it through the night,
mm-hmm.
that I went to Jesus and asked for healing. I asked not to be so sick. But that you know, I wasn't like after I did that, the next day I was 100%. What ended up happening is that instead of being resentful for not being healed overnight or instantaneously, my love for him got stronger, because he said that I love you, and I need you here to for others to see the light in you while you're here in this place, and I need you to get closer to me while you're here. So my prayer was answered in other ways, that my soul was saved, my soul was healed through that period of time, even though I wasn't physically being healed from the ailment that put me there. Do you hear what I'm saying? Does it make any sense?
I hear you, but it's not making sense.
Because sometimes your prayer is not answered directly. So when I said, "Hey, my car's broken, can you fix it?" And God says, "I have actually a better solution. Sure. I'm not going to fix your car. You're going to stay home and you're going to read 2 chapters of the Bible, since you have nowhere to go." There's other things that fall into place because you asked. If I wouldn't have asked, maybe I never would have heard what it was I was supposed to.
No doubt we're supposed to ask.
Yes.
But I just don't like the juxtaposition of the asking and the getting. That as if just asking means that all these things are going to drop in your lap. And he doesn't do it repeatedly. There's just some parts of the language that I'm not a fan of.
I hear you.
I urge you then to make use of your God.
Yes. You know that he's there. Be there. Don't forget that he's there.
Yeah.
It's like make use of a pair of pants. Put them on before you go outside.
But it's got a pair of pants. I am yours, dear soul.
He is my armor. He is my shield.
Armor is dignified. Pants is not. This is the quote from Spurgeon. It's his own quote. I am yours, dear soul. Come and make use of me as you will. You may freely approach my spiritual storehouse, and the more often you come, the more welcome you will be. Maybe it's just a mood I'm in. It just sounds goofy to me.
What do you guys think? Make sure and comment and let us know what your thoughts are.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Nice to see you.
I get that ask and get what's best according to God, not what I think is best. Yeah. I like when Spurgeon has these deep spiritual thoughts of our relationship with God. I guess when he simplifies them down to our basest needs, I'm not as crazy about that language. Really? Yeah.
Does he have another version that we could look at? Is that the only version? Can we look at NKJV?
Maybe this is
Charles?
Jim's fault. We got to ask Lisa.
Yeah, let's see what
I think she has an original one.
Let's see what Jim has to say.
No, because Jim also turned it into modern English.
Oh.
So it could have been his.
He didn't do that good of a job, because I struggle sometimes with the words that he uses.
Okay, so Jim says, indeed, our Lord is a personal God who lavishes his riches on us. Yet, as we grow in him, maturing from newborn babies to seasoned saints, our requests of him should mature as well.
See, Jim's not such a bad guy.
I like that.
Yeah.
He says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear them from heaven. Prayer we say often for the nation. Notice how he says, seek my face and not seek my hand. When we seek his face, we seek to know him better.
That's way better.
See that?
Yeah.
But when we seek his hand, we seek only things he can give us.
Like my kids. I don't think my kids have seen my face in years.
What would we rather have? The things of the world, 1 Corinthians 7:31, or the love of the Father lavished on us, 1 John 3:1. And God's grace that he lavished on us with all wisdom and understanding. Thank you, Jim. You vindicated me.
What's his prayer?
Father, Father, my prayer is that you would help me loosen my grasp on the meaningless things of this world and deepen my desire for you alone. Mic drop right there.
That was good.
That made me feel much better.
So glad. What are people saying online?
Let's see. Lisa says it's different than her book.
Oh.
No offense, but I always like my version better. Maybe it's less edited. Is it more like authentically Spurgeon language? Let us know what the difference is. What I got from the reading was it's amazing how many kindness Jesus has, so much greater than all my sins, and how foolish any of us can be not to turn to him every day in prayers and humility. Yes, absolutely. If it's, and I find myself forgetting, if we just put aside the differences in the language, but the theme, that general theme, turning to Jesus at every moment, I absolutely, I find myself doing that all the time. But what, something Jack said last night in Hebrews, as he's going through Hebrews, I believe we've moved on to chapter 7 finally.
I think so.
But it was and he's titled it One and Only, but it is this concept of the sufficiency of God and the sufficiency of God's promises, meaning we don't need any further evidence of his goodness other than he keeps his promises. And that if you hold on to those promises, life gets easier, better, however you want to describe it, that it is that nearness to Christ, holding on to his God's promises that he's done throughout the centuries. And I mean, from the beginning of the Old Testament all the way through to the New Testament, and everything that is yet to happen, that if we rest in that, that joy and contentment of the Lord will be far more prominent than anxiety, worry, and fear. But I still struggle with getting there.
All right, then. Yeah. Should we see what the Bible has to say about this particular subject?
Hi, Kate.
Oh, hey, Kate. Nice to see you.
We're having this little discussion about Spurgeon today. And so Lisa says, yes, hers is a little more like Spurgeon-esque. Lisa's saying, I heard Pastor Jack wants to say, get around new believers because as we mature and we believe, we forget the basics, that pure joy can be found. Something like that. Yes, He does say that.
True.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jan French.
Hi, Jan.
Great to see you again.
Yes.
We saw you on Sunday.
Yes. And
awesome.
And
her husband.
Everybody at I was going to talk about the brownies.
Oh, the brownies were amazing.
Everybody was like, where did those brownies go, Jan? So everybody was just like, I was like, the brownies were the first thing that went, folks. So they were a huge hit.
Yeah, if you have a home church, invite Jan.
For brownies.
Yeah, she makes great brownies. And she's great company as well. So is her husband. He makes me laugh.
I love your husband, Jan. I love your husband. He's so funny. Such a wonderful spirit. I just love seeing the two of them too. They're just like happy in love. Like
they're like newlyweds.
Right?
Get
Very
a room.
Cute.
Okay, Cindy says
it can be a struggle. I've said so many things
yeah.
since then. I can't remember which one we're talking about.
Sorry, Cindy.
Sorry, Cindy. Always Cindy today has been ultimately better mixed with ultimate sweet, and I have been talking to God all day.
You get the last part.
Huh?
She's been talking to God all day.
Okay.
That's all you need to know.
Did we do the Bible already?
No, that was we were going to do that, and then we got distracted by the comments.
Psalm 67:6. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and God, even our own God, shall bless us. That's actually referring to the millennial kingdom. So that's a prophecy. 1 Peter 5:7. Casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. So I don't know about you guys, but I did not remember 1 Peter includes this cast your cares upon the Lord expression, which we remember from, I believe it's Matthew. So this reminded me of that.
I feel like that's in a popular Christian song for some reason.
It is.
Okay.
But it's not from 1 Peter.
Oh.
Here, I'll tell you. I'm trying to remember Bible. Cast.
Burdens.
Yeah, or burdens. So, so Matthew 11. So that's generally the one that we refer to. Cast your cares upon me. I am gentle.
Take my yoke.
Yeah. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Yeah. Good catch.
So Deuteronomy 10:21. He is your praise and he is your God, who has done for you these great and awesome things, which your eyes have seen, testifying to all that God has done for us.
You know that I've seen. Have you seen those purple flowers that are as you're leaving the garage on your left?
Uh-huh.
That at night, if you go there right now, they're all shriveled and like they're all closed like that.
Really?
Yeah. And then the sun hits them. Oh yeah. Then the sun comes out and whack. There's this bright, almost blinding purple.
I know it's a blinding purple, but I didn't know at night they
God is amazing.
God is amazing.
That's one of those sights like which your eyes have seen. I see it in those flowers.
That's amazing.
I see it in your beautiful face, of course, but I see it. I see it.
That's what I'm doing.
But I see it in those flowers. I've been transfixed the last couple of mornings going outside.
Why didn't you tell me at night?
I keep meaning to tell you. Yeah, go out there and look at them. They're all like closed up.
Oh, wow.
That happens a lot with flowers. I know people are thinking, well, you don't know that. Yes, but these flowers are so, I'm going to take a picture and put it on Facebook. They're so spectacularly purple.
Oh, no, the flowers are beautiful when they're open.
They're gorgeous. But that's right. I see.
Okay.
I see with my eyes.
Romans 1:17. For in the gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to the last. Just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith.
Yes.
Yes. Deuteronomy 33:29. Happy are you, O Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord, the shield of your help and the sword of your majesty. Your enemies shall submit to you, and you shall tread down their high places. Again, now, prophetic.
We looked in other versions of that particular scripture because we're trying to figure out what high places meant, and we got a couple different things.
Well, yes, because they started saying that they were jumping on somebody's back.
Yeah, and you shall jump on their back.
Yeah, but when you look at it from the Strong Blue Letter Bible, the word Bama, which is the word for high places, it says it's a high place, a mountain, a funeral mound, a ridge. So it's not somebody's back. And according to all the different places it appears in the Bible, it is a high mountain or
it's so weird that they would get those two. They're distinctly different things.
Right?
Stomping on somebody's back, as one of them says, is different than...
And a couple of them said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that Message version.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. That's another question I have for Jack in the future when we interview him. You know we're going to be interviewing him, right?
No. Okay.
Let's see. Anybody have anything to say?
Always Cindy today. Cutest couple award.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
I was just looking at my shoulder. Look how broad my. It looks like I have like shoulder pads on.
Yeah, you did. Your shoulders look very broad today. I don't know
Yeah,
where we
'cause I
were.
went-
When you were
I went to the
playing with the
gym.
dogs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that happens. I turn into a different person.
yeah. I noticed that. I know
Because
that
part
about-
of working with a dog is showing command presence.
Yes, I know the same.
Like when I was picking up on you at the church, with my shoulders broad.
No, you were doing the whole I'm in my shorts and flip flops routine. You didn't do the command presence routine.
Oh, okay.
You did the night we went when you surprised me and took me to lunch to the Trump Resort.
Oh,
That day you did.
Yeah, I was packing.
Yeah.
Packing heat.
You did that on purpose for me, huh? Because you
I
never
did.
did it since.
I done it. I just didn't flaunt it. I have on occasion. Depends on where we're going. Every so often I'll have it with me. I just don't tell anybody. It's old hat. But that one I just wanted to make sure I made sure and check out my gun.
That's the way he was flirting.
At the Trump Resort.
Yeah.
Our first real date
Yes.
was at the Trump Resort. It's just so perfect.
Right.
I couldn't think of a better place to go.
It was very nice.
It was awesome.
And I'd never been there. I lived in LA for 50 years. I'd never been there. 30 years.
And it was during COVID. It was open and
yeah.
it was pretty interesting. How did we get sidetracked on that?
Back.
Oh, cutest couple of words.
Cutest couple.
Yesterday I sent it to you. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but Jack was at the Babylon Bee offices where he was getting interviewed by the two.
I thought you sent me the Liberty University.
I did that one too, but that was like a week ago.
Oh.
A couple days ago, or yesterday, I think it was actually. It was an interview at the Babylon Bee.
Babylon?
Yeah, with the two guys that run it or own it or whatever, however you want to say it.
Uh-huh.
It's actually really funny. And it's a little frustrating, but also it's good. You'll get frustrated watching it because they ask him questions and they talk over him when he's starting to answer. And then the original question is never answered because it takes him off. And then he answers something else that's not related to one question was about demons.
Oh.
Have you seen them? And he starts to answer and then they talk over him, which then they get on some other subject. And then later on, I don't know if it's a brother or if it's a partner. He says, I never got my answer about the demons. And then it seems like they're going to and then they don't answer it.
Oh,
so they never answered that question. If Jack has ever come across demons at church or in his work as a pastor. And that was one question I was going, I want to know the answer to that question.
Wow.
But they talk over him. The other thing is at the very beginning, he does push-ups. Because they go, you work out? And he goes, no. And he goes, I worked out long ago, but I haven't worked out in a very long time. And they go, well, do you think you could do more push-ups than me? And then the guy gets down, one of the guys, the bald-headed guy.
How old are they?
They're like in their 20s or late 20s, early 30s, something like that, in their 30s. Yeah. And Jack pushed up them. How do you say that? He did.
20-year-olds?
Yeah. I think they're probably closer to in their 30s, mid-30s maybe. Yeah. The guy quit. It's hard I can't tell because maybe he quit because he was going, well, Jack he kept going. And he was doing good push-ups, Jack did.
Wow.
He did really good push-ups. And then they asked him if his hair was real.
Which is a good question.
A question I've always wondered.
Right?
Because it doesn't look real.
It doesn't look real. I totally get that question.
And Jack said it's real.
I totally get that question. But I just know
finally somebody asked if it's good.
Because he just wouldn't.
But it was a good interview. It's just a little bit frustrating. I don't know if Lisa has the same feeling or not, but there was just they kept talking over each other. It's one of those things, but it's fun. And they asked pretty good questions, but there was a couple of them that he never answered. So you should watch it, but you may just stop it because you go, okay, I can't take it anymore.
Right?
They keep talking.
I get annoyed with seeing news interviews that do that.
Yeah. And there's two of them. So there's twice the opportunity to talk over.
Right? Over their guests.
Yeah. Lisa says she watched it.
Yeah, she just watched it. Lisa just watched it too.
Yep. I posted it on my Facebook. I thought it was really good. What else is going on, Schnooks?
I think that's it for me.
Really?
Well, I'm still researching the predestination versus chosen topic. I'm going down deep and down a rabbit hole.
That was your message on Sunday.
Yes. And I think I'm coming to the conclusion it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of God's sovereign will combined with knowledge of who is in Christ, his foreknowledge of that. But one of the topics that I enjoyed in the discussion of predestination is the idea that God chooses people, and how interestingly he has done through time. So the original story, Abraham has a son, right? Isaac, but then he first had Ishmael. Why does God choose Isaac to be the son of the promise and not Ishmael? Ishmael's of the Hagar as opposed to Sarah. And he specifically asked, Abraham said, is it going to not be Ishmael? And he's like, no, it's going to be Isaac. I told you Sarah. But then afterwards, okay, so you're like, okay, well, she's the legitimate wife. That explains it. But then when it goes to Jacob and Esau, he still chooses the second born. Jacob I loved, but Esau I hated. And he explained, as one pastor explained, he doesn't mean hate. He just means that he chose the other one more so. He didn't like literally hate him. But
how does he know? This pastor
going through the long explanation of the word, like the original word in Hebrew. And
that's always important, isn't it?
It's
I never realized how important that is.
Of course, because it's the original language. I mean, we're reading translations, you know, and English is a very limited language compared to the other languages. So it goes back and literally goes through like 10 other uses of that same word. The Hebrew word for love and the Hebrew word for hate. And he's like, the translation of hate is actually not accurate. It should be did not choose, not chosen, as opposed to hated. Anyways, but when you sit and just ponder that throughout humanity, God in his infinite wisdom and in his grand design has chosen people for different things. And they're often broken people, fallible people. They still mess up, like all of us.
Yep.
Like all through time, he's like, I'm going to anoint you with this great mental, this ministry and all this stuff. And then you look at some people and you're like, oh my God, what did you do? You had an affair with the secretary? You know, like, it's just astonishing because the people today are making the same mistakes people did back then, you know, throughout humanity, where just God just continues to choose and to bless and to anoint. And we demonstrate repeatedly how unworthy of it we are.
I was listening to this interview with Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson just said kind of what we've been saying, where you just have to be okay with not ever knowing.
Yes.
That there's these things that we just will not know. Like everything can't be explained, and everything doesn't have to be explained.
Right.
He's very faithful, both Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. I don't know if that's new with Tucker Carlson. Do you think, has he always been?
He's Episcopalian, but he's always been faithful.
Yeah. But yeah, he was just like, I don't know why people just can't get that through their heads. Like there's things we're not going to ever know.
Yes.
We could talk about them, have discussions, but also feel comfortable that, these are things that aren't going to be answered on this lifetime.
So Cindy's asking, how do I do my research?
Well, that's a good question.
Any good tips? It's funny because I do a lot of it. So I do print and media. And so it's all in the search query. I find that the results you get are based on how good your search query is. I still actually try to teach this to my teenager, but that's what I did for a living. So that's how I know I'm pretty good at coming up with search queries. But also what's really important is that when you do come up, like, when you want to watch videos, make sure they're reputable scholars, because there's a lot of weirdos out there. And so you end up watching some silly person that doesn't know what they're talking about. So what I do is if I do come up on a video, and if I do not know the person, I'll go to their website, look at the person, see who else they're associated with. Do they have any other like damaging things that have been said about them? and stuff like that, actually. And I have some sources that I go to repeatedly that are reliable, like the Bible Gateway, and a couple of commentaries that I use. I have Logos software, and a couple of the Matthew Henry commentary, Worsby's commentary.
How often do you go to Logos?
Quite often. It's on my phone.
It's a paid version?
It is a paid version. But the free version is amazing.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is there a chat GPT for looking up biblical references yet in AI?
No, but what OAN says they developed one for conservatives.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think it could be very similar to AI.
Logos,
because they have sermon prep material, like how to prepare a sermon. You can make a slide deck on there. They'll help you develop a outline of concepts based on a subject. So it's pretty close.
Nice.
And funny enough, Lisa, that's so funny that you say I can't wait for this article, because I actually did not intend to put it into an article, but now you gave me an idea of maybe putting it into an article.
It has been a struggle to find this
week's topic. Yeah. So if you have any ideas for topics, I don't know if I feel safe enough to bring up the predestination concept, because it's such a morass of information. But if you do come up with any other ideas you suggest for an article, let me know.
Yes, I think that would be a good article. It turned out to be a great discussion for our Sunday home church.
Yeah,
it really caused a lot of people to speak up.
Very emotional.
Yeah,
maybe that's what my article could be about.
Oh, you'll get lots of comments on that one.
If you ever want to have interesting cocktail conversation, just bring up predestination with your guests, because people feel passionately about it, one way or another.
Yep. Cindy says she has Logos and Bible Gateway.
Yeah, the free version of Logos works pretty well, doesn't it? Yeah, there's tons of stuff on there.
What is it you get from the paid version?
At this point, I don't know the difference, because my version's been updated to the paid version.
Oh.
So I can't remember anymore what the difference was. I mean, it's anything from like 3,000 Bible resources, like books and references, to 10,000. Like, what does it matter at that point? But there was some functionality that I wanted that the free one didn't have, and I cannot remember what it is. Maybe Cindy knows.
Was it maybe the PowerPoint ability, the presentation ability?
I literally cannot remember.
Usually has something to do with that it will create stuff for you and make your life easier.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the research part of it, but the creation of something you might need for a sermon or a talk and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Maybe Cindy remembers off you see the bugs?
Yep, now I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I think those
gnats.
You brought them in when you came through the garage door.
Yeah.
They followed you in.
My fault.
But in Yorba Linda, those are known as the city bird, those gnats. And it's widely known.
I think I remember that from last year.
We were actually driving, Rhett and I were driving somewhere yesterday, and what is that? Like, what was that? It was like smoke coming from a tree. He goes, that tree on fire? And he goes, and we both look and go, no, those are bugs. Like, there were so many gnats flying around this tree. It looked like the tree was smoking.
That's gross. And it's just starting to get hot, so
yeah,
got a lot more to come.
Nice. Lisa says that she was impressed with Pastor Jack and
how they rattled him.
It's just an interesting. They just talk. I mean, they talk over.
Well, you know what it is.
And then, I mean, they asked his hair is real, and they said, how many push-ups can you do?
They don't have the reverence that we're used to people having for him.
And I think Jack found it interesting and fun because it wasn't like that. Because I listened to that interview, and then back to back, I listened to a Kirk Cameron interview where he has a much more, reverent style of interviewing him.
Yeah.
And clearly it was just a huge difference. Like, I go, oh wow, that was hard. It was hard for my brain to switch. because I was getting so frustrated. Like, let him answer that. Why'd you talk? Why? Like, it looks like they're gonna just let him talk, and then one guy just throws in something like random, like, "No, why'd you throw that off?
Do they do that with all their interviewees?
And that's the first one I've seen of the Babylon Bee, but but either way, it was fun. It was fun just to see Jack in a different environment.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so you got your article subject now. Lisa came up with it for you, so now you got to do it because she wants to see it.
I may have to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to be unapproachable for a few days because that's one of those subjects that I think is going to take you away from me.
Oh.
That happened. Which one was that where you just were so, I need to get this right? And I'm not a big fan. Thanks a lot, Lisa. It is stressful, isn't it? I remember having to teach in front of a bunch of dog trainers.
Yeah,
and that's always so difficult. Like I can talk in front of 800 attorneys. I'd have no problem because none of them have any clue. They just believe what I'm telling them is true.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't know any different.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But speaking to a bunch of dog trainers,
colleagues are hard.
Yeah, and it's tough, and you work a little bit harder on those presentations.
Yeah.
And so here you are writing for the Christian Post on a subject that not everybody has the same.
Well, I really struggle with stepping outside of my expertise. So I'm not a theologian, and tackling a very difficult theological subject to me seems outside of my wheelhouse.
Is there a way of
making it more common sense? That's what I get.
Yeah.
Is that
or showing both sides of the
Well,
argument.
I definitely have to show both sides because I have no concrete opinion one way or other, but basically saying that this is just something I do as a new Christian too. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and I didn't go through formal training. And so I get curious about certain topics, and this was one of them.
Right. All right. Well, good luck. I'll see you in a week.
I have to turn it in by Tuesday. So.
All right. Okay. We have a big weekend. We have a lot of kid stuff this weekend. So, and I'm not, when you squeeze me, I'm going to stay on another 15 minutes.
No.
When you squeeze my knee. Okay. You're going to make me laugh. All right. Pray for us. We have a lot of kid stuff this weekend. And you're visiting your mom.
Yes.
That's going to be good. So you always need prayers to go visit your mom.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, it's her birthday today.
Mom's birthday today.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday.
Was she 50? 60? Yeah. All right, my friends. We love you guys.
God bless.
Make sure if you're watching the replay to also comment. Don't let it stop you from commenting because we get to see your comments. So let us know how you feel about the devotional today and any of the other stuff we talked about. All right, my friends. We love you. God bless.